Hi, ladies.
Okay, I'm ready. I'd just like to remind people who are not speaking to put their video on chat or on mute. Sorry. Joan, I think you're not on mute yet. Okay.
No, I'm not. And you're echoing.
I am? Okay. Is that better? Okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm Janet Lee Naddis, and on behalf of the Kalal Yisrael Committee and the Adath Israel Congregation, I welcome you all to our program about the Abayudaya Jews, the people of Judah of Uganda. Our program will begin with a film that will explain the history of the Abayudaya community. Following the video, I will introduce our panel. And should you have a question during the program, please type it into the chat. At the end of the panel discussion, our guests will do their best to respond. So let's begin with a video featuring Rabbi Gershom Sizomu on the history of the Abayudaya Jews.
And as we, just before we begin the video, we're going to be recording this program. So if you don't want to be on video at all, please turn your camera off. And if you have questions, like Janet Lee said, just please put them into the chat.
Some later ate in Uganda.
My name is Rabbi Gershom Sizom, and I'm the spiritual leader of the Abayudaya Jewish community of Uganda. Abayudaya is a Luganda word which refers to the Jewish people as the people of Judah. Abayudaya. It is a community of native Ugandans who chose Judaism in 1919. It's not a result of the outside Jewish communities, but it is indigenous that came out of self-motivation. So what makes our community unique is the history. The founder of this community, Semei Kakunguru, read the Christian Bible, which the Christians had given him as a tool for converting people to Christianity. So when he read the Bible, he found out that the Torah, or the 5 books of Moses, spoke more to him because it contained a direct word of God to the people of Israel. So Semei Kakunguru fell in love with Torah and taught the same to the people of our community. By the end of 1919, one by one of our people had converted to Judaism, and there were about 8,000 followers who were willing to observe Torah and also began to observe Shabbat every week and to also observe the laws of Kashrut. community faced many challenges after the death of Semei Kakungulu in 1928. There was no leader, ever leader like him, who could steer the community into the future. But my grandfather, Samson Mugombe, voluntarily took over leadership in 1936 when the community was crumbling and was declining in numbers. So he took over leadership with few resources to reorganize and to unite the community. And the community survived during his leadership. But then in 1971, the community faced another challenge, and it was a challenge of the coming to power of General Idi Amin Dada. Idi Amin came to power and immediately outlawed Judaism. So we were not allowed to observe publicly or to even go to our places of worship. So I grew up during Idi Amin's regime, and it was very difficult because there was too much discrimination, there was too much mistreatment even in schools. As a child, we were forced to go to Christian services, and if we refused, they would sing insults at us, calling us Christ killers. And that made it very difficult. My father used to pray for the defeat of Idi Amin. And it eventually came on the 11th day of April 1979, and it was the first day of Passover when Amin was defeated, and the new government immediately declared freedom of worship. And it was a very good day because it was the right time when Jewish people yearn for redemption, when Jewish people talk about redemption and freedom from slavery. So I decided on that day that I would become a future leader of this community, because what happened was a real miracle, that Amin had to leave at the time when every Jew expected freedom. I began to study very much. I began to lead services and to read Torah and to teach. And it is that moved me into my position as a rabbi and spiritual leader of this community. Our Jewish practice is part of us and has become our culture. It has become our tradition. Every Monday and every Thursday, we congregate in our synagogue to read the Torah and to pray together and sing together. Every Shabbat, every Friday evening, we have Kabbalat Shabbat service. After Kabbalat Shabbat, through Shabbat, it becomes very special for me to sit here with people from all over and learn with them. They ask questions, I ask them questions, and I see that not only me, but everybody is enjoying that kind of exchange where we are seated here and learning. I started a yeshiva educating young people here in this community to become potential spiritual leaders, so that I am not the only one to be the spiritual leader in Africa, so that I can give opportunity to other young people to become leaders of their respective communities. So the yeshiva is becoming a stepping stone for the future of Judaism in Africa. In Nabugoya, we have the Semei Kakungulu High School. We also have the Hadassah Primary School, which are schools that give opportunity to our children to learn Judaism and the Hebrew language besides the other subjects. We have actually a lot that we do together that brings us together and that defines our community as a Jewish community. And our people, our neighbors admire the fact that we are able to do this without any much effort, but with love and with pride So Judaism has become part of us. We are here in the middle of Uganda, in the middle of Africa, and being a small Jewish community, we always feel good to receive people from all over the world to come and share with us the joy of Judaism, to come and identify with us so that we don't feel isolated. So I invite everybody out there who is willing and interested in coming to visit to please come and visit, because that does us good. I'm looking for people who are able to make changes in this community, positive changes, like volunteers who can come here and help us teach in our Beit Midrash, teach in our schools, and volunteers who can even raise awareness for our community in other Jewish communities, because the more we are known and received and accepted by the bigger Jewish world, the more stronger we will become, and the more strong Judaism will become here in Africa. And our community continues to grow in number and also in knowledge and in strength, because of the support we get from our brothers and sisters outside of here. We live in a bigger Jewish world now. It's no longer a smaller Ugandan Jewish world.
So our panel discussion today will be led by Rabbi Yerach Meyersdorf, Associate Rabbi of the Adath Israel Congregation. Rabbi Yerach had been teaching Talmud to young adults in this Jewish community of Uganda by Zoom for 2 years, and he built this meaningful relationship, which has brought us to this opportunity to learn about their roots and their growth to this day. To quote Rabbi Yerach, he said, "What makes the Ugandan Jewish community especially fascinating is that it is growing at an extraordinary pace. They formally joined the conservative Masorti movement only a few years ago, which creates a rare and powerful moment. We get to witness, almost in real time, what a traditional halachic conservative community looks like when it begins almost from scratch." So thank you, and welcome. I want to give a welcome to Ezra Moji and Rabin. And with appreciation, I introduce Rabbi Yerach, who brings his personal experience and enthusiasm to our conversation today. I now turn our discussion over to Rabbi Meyersdorf, who will introduce our guests to you.
Thank you, Janet Lee, for your kind words. This is very exciting for me. First of all, because I'm meeting my friends, uh, Ezra and Rabin, and I could also see my parents are hiding someplace there in one of the boxes. So it's good to see you guys too. I know it's hot back in Israel. If you need some winter, you could feel a bit of the cold weather from here. Uh, and I must say, when I first met Linda and she was talking about this idea of Klal Yisrael in different communities, I wanted to yell out, "You have to hear about this amazing community. You need to meet them." And I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago, the first time I went to Uganda, and I had the opportunity. I don't know, Rabin, if you remember, we sat for a cup of coffee in Kampala, uh, which was a lot of fun. Ezra, I do not know if I met you there so many years ago, but since then we've met many times. In Israel, we met as well, which was a lot of fun. And I want to start our conversation. There are different ways of introducing people, and there's a lot of their history and where they came from and where they are. but I want to start with asking you to introduce yourself with and I will be talking about both of you later on, don't worry. First of all, your name, of course, and so no one will mispronounce your name, as someone that's called Yerachmiel Meyersdorf happens pretty often. Uh, I want you to introduce yourself, and I want you to give us one tradition that I don't want to say your favorite Jewish tradition, but a tradition that's very dear to you. And just because it's close to me, so Rabin, if you could start, introduce yourself, uh, and also where you're entering from. I think you're not, if I'm not mistaken, you're not in Uganda right now, and explain why. And Ezra later, and also give us one Jewish tradition that you admire.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Irach, and our hosts, and everyone who has joined us today and tonight for our case. I'm Asima Rabin Rivbin, a student rabbi. I study online at Hebrew Seminary in Chicago. I'm married to Rivka, and both of us have two children, one who is Akiva and another Maria. And currently we are in Kenya because we had elections last week, whereby, our politics is different from maybe I can say other countries that they need to switch off the internet. And so no access to internet, of which I do depend on internet for my education, for my rabbinical studies. So I decided to move and come to Kenya so that I am able to access internet and also do exams, because I'm in the period of doing my exams for second semester. I mean, first semester, second year. So that's one of the reasons. And here, Kenya is beautiful. The weather is really nice, and the people are welcoming. Like when I visited Israel and when I met Iraq and the family. So all people around the world, it's really nice that, you find those people who are welcoming. And that's Judaism, whereby we need one another, one time meet, and you feel as if you have met someone for a couple of years. And I have led the first birthright group that was 219. I've been in Israel several times at Conservative Yeshiva, and I have met Rabbi several times, actually, both learning together and having fun, touring. And I'm so excited to join you and see everyone here, and accepting to hear from us and to hear our beautiful community that has a lot of traditions. And one of them is, the musical thing, that our community, in everything, we try to make it musical, make it fun, that everyone can enjoy, both in service while praying, and also when we are doing Jewish activities. I'm a younger adult who led different groups, who has been in Marom, and per now I'm a spiritual leader at Kivati Swire congregation in Kampala. And for that case, Judaism brings us together. And for this tradition, younger adults, they need that kind of moment. Musical is part of, that brings us together, that attracts the younger adults. So that's one of our tradition that I really enjoy, being Jewish and being here. Yes.
If it's okay, I'm interrupting because instead of talking about, let's just show people. Do you feel comfortable to sing a song to us from your tradition? A Yadaya song?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's
Sure. I
take
would
a few
request
seconds.
I would request Ezra to join me. We sing Hine Matov.
Yes.
Okay. Hine Matov Umanai Shevet Achi gam yahad hinemato umanai shevedahi gam yahad laba 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 bwekulyo kulungi bwekusanyusa abooluganda okutula bwekulyo kulungi bwekusanyusa abooluganda okutula.
Lunyankole.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
we have many languages. We have the Kiswahili, kitu kizuri sana, inapendeza, wadada na wandugu kukaa pamoja.
Then English, how good it is pleasant brothers and sisters sit together.
Yeah. And if any of you will have an opportunity, you could check later on their music on, I know on YouTube, I'm sure also on Spotify. It is so spiritual in many, many dimensions. And later in our conversation, I hope we'll have some time to talk about synagogue and what your shul looks like and what the new shuls look like in your communities. And we'll talk a bit even more about music, which is just a great opportunity. So Ezra, where are you calling us from if there's no internet today in Uganda? And the
Yeah.
Jewish tradition that you like.
Wow, 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 wow. Oh, I'm so happy to be here tonight on this Zoom. First of all, I thank Rabiera for this great opportunity and the all adult congregation for having us this night. My name is Ezra. Of course, we're from Uganda, and currently I'm in Israel on 1 year program at Pardes Institute of Jewish Studies here in Jerusalem. Um, you know, I've been in touch with Rabbi Yerech for so many good years. Rabbi Yerech was my teacher for online Zoom lessons every Sunday. I remember those days. You could come in and like teach us. And wow, then you said you are the next people to take Judaism in front. And now we are here. We are standing in the future, trying to do our best so that we become the next new rabbis back home. That's why we are trying so hard. Rabin is starting. I'm also here beginning on my spiritual journey. In short, of course, from Uganda. I'm from Uganda. We have so many synagogues. Nabwe is being the headquarters or the main synagogue, and me, I'm from a small community known as Nasen. Yeah, it's part of the big communities, but we are in different villages. Um, and yeah, I have a lot to share, but I know it's time I'll be sharing. With the traditional activity that I like in my community is when it comes to Scott, like we try to visit people's sukkahs like everywhere. Like we have to go to everyone's sukkahs. We eat something there. We bless them. We go to another sukkah. We eat something. We bless like the family. So like this is like a culture. We tour around everyone's sukkah so that people get to know, people get connected. So this is like the tradition that I grew up seeing it and it's still continuing throughout. So I love it so much.
Beautiful. Thank you. I know I'm not one of your community members. Like we like to say, are you a member? But I want to tell you about one of my fascinating things in your community. After Rosh Hashanah, I went to be at the high holidays. I came to visit with my wife, and we arrived. The services were very similar, but a bit different. But what struck me was when we finished the services, uh, all the community slowly went out of the synagogue. We created a large circle. I think it was a bit more than 100, I don't know if it was 150 people, I don't remember exactly, sitting around the circle. Someone brought out a large pot of rice, a small pot of meat, because it was Rosh Hashanah. So The shochet was there, and there was kosher meat. Just to tell you, when I told them I'm coming to Uganda, they all asked me, can I bring a knife? Because they're looking for knives that they should shech the animals kosherly, and I couldn't find a knife. I brought calendars and I brought kosher wine, so my backpack was full of bottles of wine. And just to put it in perspective, from the airport to the community, it took us, again, I took a local bus, it took us 7 hours. And from there, we jumped on a motorcycle. Um, and just imagine I have a backpack full of, was about like 20 bottles of wine in my backpack, holding someone on a motorcycle. You could also imagine Rabbi Nava holding someone on a motorcycle. And it took us, if I'm not mistaken, it was like about half an hour on a motorcycle to get to the village, which was an amazing, amazing experience as well. But exiting the service, sitting in a circle, the Rabbi Gershom, said a few words of Torah, and then people started to sing. And slowly, everyone got a plate, and you get rice, a bit of dodo, a bit of a green vegetable, and one block of meat. And you do not finish your plate because the children, not like us that they try to run and to get first in Kiddush in line. They are the last ones, and they get any leftovers that anyone leaves. And we were just sitting around in a circle and singing. If I'm not mistaken, it was for almost an hour, and it was just such an amazing thing. So that's a small thing that I would want to share, a tradition from your community. I think I'm going to ask the hard questions right at the beginning. So you are from Africa and from Uganda, which means that in Africa, your community is a minority, and in Uganda, your community is a minority, and in the Jewish people, your community is a minority. And I think we'll start. I want us. This is an opportunity we could really have these conversations. How does it feel to be a minority of a minority of a minority? Um, what are the strengths and what are the fears? I think things are things that we can only ask people one on one. So this is opportunity. So Rabin, any thoughts?
Thank you so much, Rabbi, for a wonderful tradition that you have shared and also for this great question. Yeah, it's really challenging question, and I'll try to to share. Being a minority among the minorities is really difficult and challenging. We get discouraged, we get encouraged, we fight, we get joys. So it's mixture, most especially when we get friends like now Rabbi Yerach, who visited our community, and we sit on the table, learn and eat and have fun. That makes us strong. It gives us hope that we are not the minority among the minority. There are those people who really care and know about us and learn about us and learn from us. And they are really more excited to always come and be together, learn and share, no matter the difficulty we go through. Because, being in an area where Christians and Muslims, there are many, and you are just, a drop of salt in, an ocean. It's really difficult to rotate around and figure how you can enjoy. But for instance, I can give the strength that we have when Rabbi Gershom contested in 2016 as a member of parliament and went through not only Jews who voted for him, because we are minority among the minorities, they were Muslims and Christians. And this gave us hope and strength that, okay, it's not about being Jewish to live in a certain area, but the characters, the way, the behavior how you live with people, how you share, how you talk, how you smile matters a lot to everyone. And that has kept us among the minorities and has given us the strength and hope. Because going to parliament, it is not easy, most especially in our African politics, whereby you have to fight, to pay, to give money, to do everything possible that you can go through. But our rabbi went through, and he was Jewish, whereby discrimination and racism, as we all know, and anti-Semitism all over the world. But for our case, it hasn't happened a lot. As the rabbi explained in his video, that previously with Idi Amin, it was really hectic. But after the Idi Amin, the fall of Idi Amin, things came into becoming easier for the Jews to live and exercise. Though there are few instances, like what it happened to me a few years ago when I joined a university, and one of the lecturers, said, because I used to put on my kippah, I feel good being Jewish and putting on my kippah everywhere. And the lecturer said, I don't want you in my lecture because you are put on kippah. First remove your kippah, then you can remain in my lecture. I refused. And I moved out of the lecture. I said, it doesn't make sense, because when I joined this university, they never said we only want Christians. They said, all students will come and they are welcome. And I'm Jewish. I see Muslims around, Christians, so why do you chase me? I reported the case, no, though it went silent, and I decided to quit the university. And I didn't complete my first branch of studies. Then later on, I joined another university. Then in my third year, second semester, I was in a lecture of introduction to Germany. This was a lecturer, he was a Muslim. Also, said, because it was towards that period of the October 7th, he said, you Jews, you are killing off people. If I had a gun, I would have killed you here in front of, a big crowd of students. And I felt small. But because it was any of my studies, I kept it silent, and I moved on and I finished. But no matter what, those have been few instances that happened to our community. But apart from that, our community among the minorities, we still move forward. Those are the challenges of education, going to schools where there are Christians and Muslims, and we have only two schools, the elementary one and the high school one. We don't have a university, which means we need to go to these other universities, which is difficult. You can't, Shabbat, if you want to attend lectures or you want to go to class, you have to miss Shabbat, you have to miss these all high holidays. If you miss the class and you go to attend all these holidays or festivals, which means you either miss exams, if it is towards exams, or you are going to be degraded, because maybe other schools don't accept to give like 2 days out or 3 or 1 week, and the other our high holidays is almost a month, so it's difficult to get that. So that's a big challenge for our community. When I visited Israel a few years and all these years, I felt how it's good to be Jewish in Israel and how it's difficult being Jewish in Uganda or outside Israel, that you have to face all these challenges. But we really appreciate for our friends over the world who come, visit us, learn together, eat together, and they bring joy to us and hope that we are not alone among the minorities. We are with the entire world of the Jewish community, and we are together. They bring for us all these materials that we miss, like Rabbi Erach talked about the wine, the books, and all the Torah we get and we read, and the kosher wine, kosher matzah, all these. So we feel really great, and we really appreciate our friends all over the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to reference something that Labine said. First of all, it's so inspiring, and I'm sure many of the people that are listening in this Zoom call, they could relate very much to it when you talked about university. I'm sure that this is something that's happening to our students here too, which just brings us all much closer. What it means to be a part of the community, especially after October 7th, but not only. And I want to reference something that not too many people know, and not too many people know in Israel either. After, if I'm not mistaken, it was 1976. I hope I'm saying the correct date. Thunderball operation. It's known for Yoni Netanyahu, the brother of Bibi Netanyahu. Many people think about they know that there was an airplane that was kidnapped by terrorists and flew and it landed in Uganda, in Entebbe. Uh, I just want to tell you that if you've seen the movie, the airport in Entebbe up until today looks the same. Uh, and after the operation, Israeli special forces were able to save all the hostages except Yoni Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu's older brother. But what we don't talk about after that is that Idi Amin, the ruler of Uganda, was humiliated and he wasn't able to strike the Israel. So what he did is he was running after the Avuyadaya community in Uganda, and they were fleeing and running away and hiding for many years until Idi Amin was overtaken in power, which means that this is something that sometimes Israelis for sure, but also we don't know what can happen for certain reasons, and your community suffered the most for it. And just when you said that Rabbi Gershom became to be a member of parliament, he told me personally, I asked him, why do you want to go into politics? Rabbi Gershom is the leader of the community, the spiritual leader today. And he said, what happened with Idi Amin will never happen again. We need to have our members from our community a part of parliament. So nothing will ever happen again. And that was his reason for that. And well, thank you, Abin, for really inspiring words. Ezra, I want, if it's possible for you to elaborate a bit on the question, and I want to give you also a different dimension to go through.
Yeah.
The community just started about 100 and let's say 4 or 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, when it joined the Jewish people. How is it not only to be a minority, but how is it to be a minority that you need to go out of your village and then you meet Jews from different places around the world? How is that even a minority? And then how is it to meet people from Israel, from the US, from Europe, from like I've been with you, and we had people from Latin America on our group together. But how does that feel for you and for people from the community?
Yeah, thank you, Rabbi Yerech. Yeah, of course, being a minority in Uganda, and when you travel around the world, of course, people ask you a lot of questions. You find, because I've been to States, I've been to America, where I've been to different summer camps, and like, of course, the kids, the parents, like the old and the younger ones, they ask the same questions. Here in Israel, of course, people invite you on dinners, and like, yeah, it's the obvious the same questions. Firstly, when you reach, of course, you tell them how Judaism is in Uganda and how we embrace our culture, how we do this, and of course, people like what I've realized that people abroad like love, Judaism, like being Jewish, we are like family, like we care for each other. And my experience is when I go, like, when I'm invited somewhere to share, of course, I tell them about the community, and how our daily life is, how we survive, and how we like, and how, what has kept us, our Judaism, strong up to this date. You know, growing up in a community where there is no running water, no electricity, poor roads, and so on, then you come to the first world countries. Of course, you see things are just done by themselves. You go to someone's house, you go, like everything is very organized. Cooking is done just in a few minutes. They have saved a lot of time, and wow, you wonder, wow, this is what I want to be in my home. So, like being in a minority community coming to the outside world, try to show, we try to teach people, to tell them the truth, what we go through, and like our realities, and we share them, we share the culture. For example, when it comes how Shabbat is, how do we do Shabbat? Of course, we tell them this is how Shabbat is done. It comes on Friday. People prepare. We bake our own challah in our traditional stoves. We do this. Shabbat comes in. People go for prayers. We have like what like like what is done on Kabilat Shabbat, but in Ugandan version with songs accompanied with different tunes. So this is what we share, and like of course that's why you find that people from wherever you travel, you share someone, he tells you, oh, do you know someone? Do you know Rabin? Because our community is very small, almost we know each other. When you ask me someone, at least I know someone. Because it is small, we are united. And that's how, like, our being united and being like, we know each other. This has kept us, like, very strong. In case there is any challenges, of course, people come together to support each other. Because in challenges, the community stand with, like, we stand with each other. In happiness, people still come to stand with each other. So this is what has kept us. It's not like outside the world where people, you have to get an invitation from a person to come to your party or to your festival. But in Uganda, it's open. When I hear Rabin is having a party, you just show, people just come, even though no invitation. So that friendship that we have, that has kept like the community so united.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you, Ezra, I know this is already, usually I try to do the opposite. Instead of talking about technical things,
Mm.
I want to start with some personal. But I think now is even a time. Can you tell us how many centers does the community have? How many people? Children. What does the community contain these days?
Yeah. Right now, the community, it's comprised of 5,000 people all over the country, and we have over 13 synagogues. But the biggest, the conservative affiliated with Masorti, that's like the biggest population, with over 7 synagogues. Then we have some Orthodox and some Reforms, and we have those who are just emerging in Mkono and other parts of the country. In the community, we have 3 groups. We have like the youth, the younger adults, the teenager group, where like the ages of between 8 to 17. That's what like it's higher. It's like Noam Olami, where like this group come together, like have for study purposes. Then we have BBYO. This is between from 18 to 23. It is like a teenager group. Also, they come together. Then we have Marom. Marom, that's from 25 to 35. This is like younger adults where people come together for learning activities and so on. That's part of the groups we have in the community. We also have groups. We have women groups. We have the men's club also that brings men together as group. Then we have like even the musical. the music group also that are innovating everyday music. The Abudaya music is also there. So we have so many groups in the community. Though we don't have technology like the outside world to see us, but when you come back in the community, like you feel and you see what is on ground is so inspiring, and like you see there is a future for the Abayudaya in the coming years.
Ezra, it sounds like it's out of Israel in Uganda. Yes, very much. Uh, amazing. Or we still, I know we had a choir, we need a choir. I know we don't need too many emails after this call. I'll tell Cantorstein that we're pushing for that. I see Claudette here. That's your job to take care of a choir that we'll have. Uh, Ravin, I can you just explain to us what a Shabbat looks like? Um, again, just a few things that so we could connect in a personal level.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's beautiful how Shabbat looks like in Uganda, whereby Friday, everyone is excited, running up and down, looking for what to prepare, whatever they have. It may be if you can afford a fish, it's to you. If you can afford cowpeas, I don't know if you know cowpeas or beans, because it depends how one can afford a meal for Shabbat. But as long as that's a kind of a different meal from other other days, and after collecting everything, then starting to prepare, challah. And our challah, as Ezra had talked about, we get our local stove. You get the stones, like 3 stones. You put one this way, the other one here. You get a saucepan, and you bake and put all the ingredients, and then cook with the firewood. Then when it's ready, you put aside. Then there are those who are cleaning the synagogue. There are those who are trying to clean the compound, and there are those who are cleaning inside the house, setting a Shabbat table, and with music, like what we started with. So amazing music, the traditional music. And then we come after finishing all that evening at 6:30, we come together with the music part. We start with the Kabbalah Shabbat, whereby we have the drummers, they are there, those with guitars, and those who know how to sing with the voices. And we begin our Kabbalah Shabbat with nice melodies, with joy, and mostly in our local languages. So what the rabbis did, or our ancestors, Rabbi Gershom, and also the founders of the community, they made music, and they changed Hebrew to English, to our local languages, so that everyone can understand and everyone can enjoy Shabbat. So we come with these melodies together. We have that, we dance, we have fun, and later on, we hear from Rabbi giving us a drush, and then from a drush, if people have questions, of course, Kabbalah Shabbat, we also ask questions if there are something which really trigger the mind of the congregants, and they are ready to ask, they can ask. Then our morning service begins at 9. Everyone comes from far or near. You see people walking, those who are able. You see the old, the young, and the little ones, and everyone comes together. we begin with the, simple melodies in like the Shema, Hinematova as we sang, and then we begin our Shachrit. Then later we read Torah, all these. So it's really traditional and much of with the joy and music that transpires us. And then we come for, after Torah, reading Torah, we have the trees where we gather to study, and people ask questions. And everyone is here, those who want to ask questions, those who want to share their how they feel about the Shabbat or the parasha, and then Rabbi responds. And after we have a meal that Rabbi shared, seeing, bring all these saucepans, and we enjoy. So also keeping food warm is difficult, When we visited Israel, we saw they have the platters, they keep food warm. But for us there, not just late that we have platters at some of the communities, not every community. So our food, we used to keep it locally warm. Like you get, you make this, is it called, after the firewood, you get another big firewood. Then you make it, you cover it. Then you make it cool inside there. And then you put the saucepan on top. Or you bring a stone. Then that stone, when it hits, it keeps that warm. And the food is warm until morning or afternoon when we get it ready to be eaten. So that's how we keep food. And there are those who eat it, cold, without using all these methods, and they are unable to get the platter. So they just eat it cold. And this is our life, our lifestyle. And we enjoy, we feel at home, with the much of happiness and united. And you see everyone is excited coming for Shabbat to meet everyone and hear what has been what transpired during the course of the week. Where have you been? What have you been doing? And what do you want to learn? What have you learned for this week? So it's really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sure we can continue talking for hours. I know, Sylvia, you got a few questions, I'm sure, in the chat. So I think you can ask the questions.
So yes, let me ask a couple of questions from the chat. And actually, as you were talking, you were often answering the questions that people had, which is great, because you can tell that there's a real connection in what people want to learn and what you're here to share with us. That said, I'll ask them anyway in case there's something that you wanted to add and contribute. Can you tell us more about what Jewish education is like for children and teenagers? You have specific rules associated with the synagogues. How does the children's education work?
Yeah. With Jewish education at the synagogue, always, when it comes to services, people go to the synagogue with their kids. Like the first prayers, the shacharit up towards Torah reading. After like getting out the Torah, they get like some adults from the community. They take these kids out. Then like they have their own learning when they are reading the Torah, because sometimes these kids make noise. They interrupt the Torah reading. So outside there is where they have sessions learning. Now this is like on Shabbat. It's done on Shabbat. Someone teaches them, coaches them. Then they come back when they're returning the Torah. Then they come back, they be around, and they lead like the last. They come like they lead the last service. They be part of the leading the Adon Olam, like the concluding services in the synagogues. So that is specifically on Shabbat. On other days, during holidays, we organize what we call a shiva. Sometimes it is the 1 week. People gather, people send their kids to the synagogue, and like it's 1 week intensive learning. Sometimes family people contribute money, and like someone is stationed at the synagogue. Like every day, people send their kids in the morning. They walk to the synagogue. Then there is someone teaching them, like from 9 to 1. Then they go back. Then like it is continuous, like the whole when they are in their holidays. On the other hand, during like school time, lessons are conducted only on Sundays. Like every Sundays, it is maybe 3 hours. Someone is at the synagogue, and like parents every Sunday send the kids, those who are not in boarding, like to go and learn about of course, about the Hebrew and Judaism, because we normally conduct lessons. We have a person who leads, who is conducting, if it is Hebrew lessons. Then there will part who is conducting about Judaism, then about the love of Israel. So we normally have different lessons, because we organize the curriculum or the lesson plan that is going to be, and what target of kids are you going to teach. So we have kids who haven't done the bar and bat mitzvah. They are taught separately, and those who finish the bar and bat mitzvah are also taught separately. So that's how we do. Then we also have the adult learning. It's conducted late in the evening. It might be once in a week, and you find like parents come in. Most of our parents never went to school, so they come like, yeah, they struggle with things when you are teaching them. We teach what we can, and what we don't know, we say, we don't know. That's how we do it here, because we have limited teaching materials. So we do what we know. Then the rest, what we don't know, we just leave them out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much for sharing. And I actually think there's something quite Jewish in not having all the answers to the questions anyway, whether you have the reference materials or not. I think what we do is just ask more questions from there. Claudette, I see that you have your hand up. Let me take you off mute. You did that yourself. What's your question?
Thank you. Sorry, I can't type the question into the chat, but so I appreciate you asking me. This community sounds like a very close-knit community, because you said it's about 5,000 in the country. I want to know, how do they deal with assimilation? Do they have a large part of their community that assimilates, or how do they deal with intermarriages? If that happens, how do they deal with it? Did you hear the question?
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know. Should I answer, or is that you answering?
Yeah, you answer.
Okay. Thank you so much. I don't know. I don't want to know of it.
Yes, Claudette.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much for that wonderful question. Yes, it's really a big challenge what you talked about intermarriage. That being, as we talked about, being minority among all these around the world and within Uganda, it's a big question which needs urgent answer, which sometimes we don't have it, because we are around the communities, the Muslim communities, the Christians, and it's difficult. Our children, our sisters, our brothers go to school to these schools and play with these children, and they communicate a lot, and they have a lot of connections. So it's difficult to disconnect, and it's a big challenge. Our rabbi actually has been discouraging intermarry and saying, you know what, since we're a minority, if we go out, of course, our community will no longer be, available, and Judaism will not exist in Uganda. So it encourages in a way that brings lessons to younger adults, creating lessons that how can we be together. So they organize the younger adults lessons to teach how we can protect ourselves as a minority, and how we can choose from our own, and what are the dangers and the benefits of getting a partner who is Jewish and not getting a partner who is not Jewish, and encourages that if there's whatever that you because we don't move with everyone, so saying, okay, you put a land whatever, but what he says, if you have got someone and really is also interested in becoming Jewish, you bring that person, and he if is interested in learning, yeah, he can learn and then become Jewish. But it's a big challenge whereby we are trying our level best, mostly visiting the communities. And now what we began recently is we go to each communities. If it is a Shabbaton, we go to, for instance, Nasenyi, and we organize, we have a celebration together. We bring these younger adults to the other community, they see one another, and then we go to another community like that. And at the end, you find that they have found partners in such moments. And that's how we do it. And also try to teach them when they are in the holidays so that they understand being Jewish, how good it is. So even if they go to outside world, they are not assimilated. They are the strong, beings among the ocean. And you find it is working. We see it working because we have seen young adults getting one another. For instance, these groups which we have, the AYA, Abaida Youth Association, the Marom group, where I also got my partner from, and many other youth adults, also Ezra got his partner from the Marom, that age group. And it has helped us. And that's how we keep on as we try much teach everyone, and also bring everyone together, that really we need to do our best to keep our community one and not being assimilated. Thank you. I hope I have tried to answer.
I just want to add one thing, because I was the rabbi of Marom. I'm happy that your shidduchim came from Marom. Yeah, so same as we had Friday night in our synagogue, we had a dinner of 20, 30s at the ages of, we had about 60 participants here. Also in Uganda, the rabbi of the community would have in the capital Friday night dinners, because the university students go to the capital, many of them to study. So they understood that they need to have, not in the village, but in the city, the main city, where many of the young adults, they need to have activities there. So they support activities Friday night so young adults can meet up together, and very important.
They work at it. They work at it. Yeah.
Thank you for that. There's a couple of questions that are more specific around the specific practices, so I'll group them together. There's a question around if the community is egalitarian, so if men and women participate equally. There's also a question about whether you would run a service even if you don't have a minyan, especially be smaller community. And then related to that, I think, is, do groups gather to commemorate your sites, or do people do that on their own? So if you could answer those three together, since they're all about religious practice.
Okay, I'll answer the first one. Yeah, our community is egalitarian, meaning both men and women participate in leading services, reading the Torah, so we are all part of it. It's only like sitting, of course, some synagogues like women sit on the other on the opposite side and men on the opposite side. Some of them it is a mixture, but we all participate in leading services because it's all under Masorti movement. Yeah, so it's open to everyone. And like the young ones, they all participate in leading services, reading the Torah, leading the Psalms in Uganda, like the Ugandan music in Uganda. So like people are open. Yeah. Rabin,
It's good to
are you
hear.
able to answer it?
Yes, thank you so much. And to the other question, actually, it depends. There are different communities that decide to, to commemorate all these events. For instance, the Marom, the younger adults could commemorate each an event that happens. And also there are these communities that also choose some events and they say, okay, yeah, let's commemorate this one, let's to have this. It depends also because of the resources. The members don't stay close to each other. So there are those who may not be able to always come every event. But for younger adults, since sometimes we get the opportunity, with their friends and who support us and who sometimes make our mind, open our mind that, oh, we have this activity. Would you love to come and join us? Sometimes we do those activities online with the outside the world, and then we commemorate these events. And sometimes we bring them to the communities. We say, okay, today we had this Independence Day, is an Independence Day here, let's have it in another community like that. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a couple more questions, and that I want to pass forward because people put them in the chat. So I'm going to combine two of them. So one question is, are there actions that we as a community here can take to support your goals? And then the other question that I think could be related to that, so I'll ask them both, is what is your wish list?
Wow.
It's a small question. It's just your wish list. I think it's a great question. So thank you for the person who asked it.
Yeah. It's long. Robin?
Would you elaborate on the question, please? Thank you.
Sorry, do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
what is your wish list? And then what is your wish list? What do you wish you had? What do you want? What do you wish you had? And then as part of that, are there things that we can do here to support you? Are there ways we can help with your wish list?
Thank you so much. As a community, as we say, the challenges that we have of education, we would wish that to get opportunity to access Jewish education and also the general education, whereby we have the young adults. Our elders didn't go to school, so they have no knowledge about Judaism or maybe even the sexual education. So, but the younger adults are more and eager to learn, and it's difficult to access the education. It's expensive, both the Jewish education and the sexual education. In terms of paying the tuition and also the materials, and also the educators. For instance, the rabbis, the Jewish educators. So if we could get those teachers who can come and volunteer in our community, we we support, and we are eagerly waiting for that and ready to learn. Our community is really eager to learn. And also accessing the education, because our younger adults don't have jobs, because they need education in order to get these jobs, which means they need education to earn a living. So it is also what we wish that maybe if there's a big picture on how we can achieve that, you know, that objective of where the younger adults can access education and also the Jewish materials.
Yeah. Okay. I can also add on. Of course, on my wish list also, what we can do is what are things that you can do to support us? One, like being ambassador, like you being ambassador to other Jewish communities around the world, talking about the Abudaya and like, of course, telling that we exist. And that's how we can be known and we can be like get recognized to other Jewish communities over the world. And of course, creating relationship. For example, you can create programs like to match mark friends. For example, I can say an example. Rabin, we can say Rabin maybe has a friend in that synagogue where they can connect together, where they can be sharing, maybe learning together and creating that. When we have like commonly things that connect us, this can bring us like to know each other and like of course even the stronger friendship. Someone to know you, you have to first be friends. Like we have to first create that stronger bondship before you know the other side of the challenges. So me, I request that you become the ambassador and like talking about the community and like that's where people can support in one way or the other. The other thing is on the wish. Uh, education, of course, we don't have too much Jewish study materials. We only use the internet, and sometimes the internet is expensive because you have to buy monthly data or daily data, which is expensive. Most people in Uganda can't afford it. It's only like a few who can do that. Uh, if and of course we have so many graduates in the community, but also they don't have jobs. But if we can create programs where people can start up their personal businesses, this could be good. This could save them time to be going to work in people's companies. Because because here in Judah, the Jews of Uganda, we are being the minority. Other people, the employer, like people who employ us, they want you to work even on Shabbat. So that's how we face that challenges. You may get a good job, but they don't care. Yes. So you are a Jew, so what? If you don't want, you lose the job. So, but now if we have like Jewish company or Jewish jobs, or when someone is self-employed, this will help like people to remain to the community. They will know what Shabbat is, and like they will continue like observing and like to take Judaism on the next level. So with challenges, we have challenges in terms of jobs, in terms of most of the Abayudaya in Uganda, we base on agriculture, and the agriculture people of course grow crops for only for home consumption. We still use old tools with no technology, like people will cultivate using maybe machines or tractors. We still have such local traditional ways. So on my wish list here, I wish like such things like we also like get some we have maybe good internet where people can access reading materials, where we can have even a Beit Midrash with full of books, where someone can go in the Beit Midrash. There is internet, free internet. There are sources of books where you can use the internet. Like this could be good. Like the community can benefit, and like of course, those who can study, they can put a good stone on the community. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing what you need, and it's good for us to know. And I think there's a piece there that we can all talk about your community. I don't think it's well known, and so I think for all of us, we're here when we talk to people after we complain about the snow, we can then say that we had a great time indoors participating in this program and share what we've learned here. So there are. Oh, another question just came in around. If there's 3 more questions, let me put them out there, and then I think after that we will wrap up. So there's a question just came in about whether everybody is fluent in Hebrew. And how many people in your group, which I think you said was 5,000, if I remember hearing correctly. And then there's a question around whether everybody has formally converted. And so that's one question that just came in through the chat. And then there's another question around what anti-Semitism is like. And so I think you spoke to that a little bit earlier. So maybe if there's anything you wanted to add from that perspective.
Yeah. Yes. So I'll talk on conversion. Yes, most of the people in the community, they converted, because once the rabbi, when he went to study in Ziegler in California, when he came back, we had the first Beit Din, and like so many people were converted, and like so many rabbis came, and even like at least every year, a person who wants to become part of the community in Uganda, you have to study with you have to be with the community for 1 full year, like knowing the practical part. How do we celebrate Pesach? How do we do this? What is done on Purim, on Scott, and like you studied the whole year cycle before you get converted. So meaning like every year we have people who get converted. Because originally most of the Jews were related, and right now, of course, many people are getting converted and they are committed. So meaning like every year people are getting converted, because the biggest part, we are the Masorti movement, and like we have the Orthodox, where also we get rabbis from Israel who come and still do the conversion and do teaching. Yeah. So at least on 5,000, you may find like maybe 4,000 people are full converted. Yeah. Robin, do you want to take on asceticism?
Thank you so much for these wonderful questions and for giving us the opportunity. Sorry for the noise from the background by my daughter. Yeah, for the community being fluent in Hebrew, actually no. Our community mostly, we pray in Hebrew, we we sing all these songs, but we don't know. We are just say the kavanah, I think, is high, whereby we enjoy and we feel, being Jewish is whatever comes, we enjoy. So only rabbi is fluent in Hebrew, and the rest of us now, like I, who is a student rabbi, who is now still learning Hebrew. Yeah, I know I can speak little, I can translate. Mostly now I'm into biblical Hebrew, and I can translate texts, but few in the community who can translate or who can speak Hebrew, actually, and who can, communicate or maybe translate Hebrew. But reading, oh wow, we do read, we do sing in Hebrew, and this is our part, and that's what makes us Jewish. Actually, we feel that it gives us that hope that wow, if we can read and sing and do this or that when we don't know the language, how more so if we learn the language. And this time around, when Rabbi went to Israel for the Zionism Congress, or they came with a program and said, actually, we need to learn Hebrew. And there's a program we're going to run that each community, they need to learn Hebrew. And so we need teachers, of course. We need volunteers who can come and teach us so that we can be able to communicate and, enjoy in our language. We can't be fish when you don't know how to swim or you live in water. So we need to learn. We need to be that fish which can enjoy the whole, can be alive while in water, not dead.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Rabin. Yeah. Yeah, on the part of anti-Semitism, in Uganda, of course, we have not experienced much anti-Semitism. This is because we, the Jews, you find that I have relatives who are like non-Jews, and they are part of my family. And like, of course, at the end of the day, sometimes we go and associate with each other. And like on the other side also, in Uganda, most of people, like the Christians, they love Israel. It's only like the Muslims who are against about Israel. But with anti-Semitism, I haven't seen that much like in other parts of the world. Yeah, maybe Rabin, you have anything you know about it, but in my experience, I haven't seen. Even though you are moving with a keeper on the street, because people just see you with a keeper and they say, "Hey, this is a new trend." Like people don't know that this is spiritual, but they just say, "Oh, this is a new trend." Like, these days, people are putting on the skipper, but sometimes they call you Papa, like sort of names, but they don't know what. So that's what we experience here, but no anti-Semitism.
Yeah, no addition, I can say that I shared my experience with that. And some years, actually, there are few people who came and visited our community, and their agenda was to harm the community. There's a group that came from Congo, and they came to Nabgoye, and that was their agenda. Later on, they left. I think they were just spying around to understand our security, our everything. And when they went back to Kampala, to the city, they actually, the security agency from the country called our rabbi and said, "Did you have such and such people in your community?" Rabbi said, "Yes." Said, "These are terrorists." And they arrested these people and said, "Wow, we survived." So there are those people who normally come, and nowadays we are, we don't take it for granted, though we haven't experienced such, but you never know. So yes, we welcome everyone. The children want to hug everyone. As Rabbi Yerach, you see, I can give you the experience that we don't care that whoever comes, we are like, oh, you are Jewish, you are part of this community. So, but I think as I speak, it's not a big problem in our community. We still have that kind of the relationship with the people around us, both the Jewish people and non-Jewish people.
Thank you. So, from a perspective of time, we've been together for what I think has been a very interesting and educational and connected hour and a half. And so I will pass it, I will say thank you, and then I will pass it on to Linda, who will formally close the program for us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Linda Friedman. It is the mandate of the Kal Yisrael Committee to provide the opportunity for people around the globe to share how their personal Jewish experiences, traditions, and culture reflect the countries in which they live. Wherever Jews live in the world, we share one Torah, one sacred calendar, and the ancient history of one peoplehood. We are one people. We are Kal Yisrael. On behalf of the Kal Yisrael Committee, I want to express our gratitude to Rabbi Yurach for inspiring and in participating in today's program and for connecting us to our special guests. Azira and Rabin, we are so thankful for you to take the time to share with us the beautiful and meaningful traditions and your personal experiences in the Abadaya Jewish community in Uganda. We wish you continued success in all you do. This program is the combined effort of the members of the Kal Yisrael Committee. And as chair, I want to extend appreciation to Janet Lee Nadis for her introduction of our program, Sylvia Luca for overseeing the Zoom technology so excellently, Masha Mashinsky for researching the video on the history of the Abadaya community, and to the rest of the committee for their devotion and commitment to our mandate. Special thanks to Roslovsky for sharing her CD of the Uganda Jewish music called Sing for Joy. Also, thank you to Erica, Randy, and Ron Lee, staff members at Adath Israel, for their ongoing support of our efforts. Lastly, please note on your calendars that on Sunday evening, June 7th, the Kal Yisrael Committee will be hosting an in-person special event to celebrate the history and traditions of the Jews of India with Toronto's Indian community of Congregation Bina. We close our program with the music of the Abadaya Jewish community singing El Ein Kelohenu. Thank you for being with us and enjoying the rest of the day, hopefully safe and warm at home. Thank you so much.
Yeah.